Okocha, hier ist der Okocha, JJ Okocha, immer noch, JJ Okocha, noch ein Bier.
Onisei, oh, what a goal! Sunday Onisei with a wonder strike. Nigeria have turned it around, and now
A little warning, sends it to Victor Osimhen.
Listeners, and welcome to episode 85 of the Nigeria Football Weekly podcast with me, your host, Olu Oke. And boy, do we have another bumper episode for your listening pleasure today. Starting with some Nigerian news, we had some big news today regarding the national team. And then I'll be touching on how our players performed in all their respective league sides in Europe, including goals for the likes of Lookman, Boniface, Tella, Tolera Kodare, and Onuachu, to name a few. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So, first things first, today, Monday, May 13th, the NFF finally unveiled Finidi George as the Super Eagles' new head coach. He has been employed on a one-year contract with the task of reaching at least the semi-final of the next Africa Cup of Nations taking place in the summer of 2025 in Morocco. So that's really good news to at least see that that position has finally been filled. We can now look forward to the World Cup qualifiers in June against South Africa and Benin Republic. We should see the squad list released within the next 2 weeks. But in other news, Ademola will be his assistant coach. Olatunji Barua will be the goalkeeper trainer. And the other members of the coaching staff will be Benjamin James, who's based in Germany. Mehmet Öztürk will be the analyst for the national team. And Chima Onyeke will be the fitness coach for the national team. So we wish Finidi George all the best. As I've said before here, Super Eagles legend, I wasn't that impressed in terms of how he set up the team for the friendly games when he was the interim coach in March when we played Mali and Ghana. Yes, we beat Ghana, but the Mali result was really disappointing. And we didn't really see much of a tactical change or tweak from him in an experimental friendly, which worried me slightly. However, now he's been empowered, he's got the job, and the serious business starts now. The good news is majority of Nigeria's star players are all fit. Yes, there's always a law after the end of the season when players have to play international games and it's not an international tournament. But when it is World Cup qualification, that's serious business. And we know Nigeria have 2 points from 2 games to start the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. And that was not against good teams. We drew against Lesotho and Zimbabwe. So it's really time to step up. So anyway, we'll bring you all the news when that time comes, and when it's time for Nigeria to play those games, we'll be previewing them and going over the results and performances. But exciting news, and let's see how the Super Eagles go, because I believe this is the most talented squad we've had in a long time. And hopefully Finidi George can find the right balance and mix within the players to bring us the glory which we know we deserve. So, moving on to the Premier League and starting with Ola Aina at Nottingham Forest. He played 90 minutes for Nottingham Forest over the weekend as they lost 3-2 to Chelsea. It was one hell of a cracking game, to be fair. Like, Chelsea played really well. Nottingham Forest played really well. Ola Aina continues to show himself in the best light, and we know that he's out of contract in the summer. So I think there's a very good chance that he will move to another Premier League side, considering how well he's been performing and also how well he played at the AFCON. Good news also, Taiwo Awoniyi is back from injury. He came on in the 84th minute and played the final minutes of the match. But the good news for Nottingham Forest is they're basically safe. They've got a vastly superior goal difference to Luton Town, and they're 3 points ahead of Luton with 1 game to go. So congrats Nottingham Forest. They will definitely remain in the Premier League, and it was exciting to watch some Super Eagles players remain in the division. Next up for them, they wrap up the league away to Burnley on Sunday, which is just a dead rubber. The game doesn't mean anything. Anyway, moving on to Fulham in 14th. Another team who have nothing to play for, and boy did they show it on Saturday. In the early kickoff, Fulham played Manchester City and got absolutely battered 4-0. Let's just say Fulham are ready for their holiday. Like, the players are in Dubai in their mind already, because that was one hell of a whitewash. But shout out to Josko Gvardiol for his 2 goals, though. I had him in my FPL team, so that definitely helped me a lot in terms of my performance so far this season. Anyway, Fulham end the season away to Luton on Sunday, but it's been an impressive season for Fulham. 14th, mid-table was probably their expectations. And remember, they lost Mitrovic in the summer, so we always thought that would be a handicap for them. But Rodrigo Muniz somehow just came from nowhere and decided that he's going to be the star man for this season. Obviously, they were lucky to keep Palinia, who was supposed to go to Bayern Munich in the summer on the last day of the transfer window. So let's see how they retool for next season. But we do know that Tosia Darabaya will be leaving on a free transfer in the summer. So let's see what Fulham do to replace him in the summer. Brentford, Frank Onyeka was not in Brentford's squad as they beat Bournemouth 2-1 on Saturday. Very, very good performance from Brentford. And Buemo and Visa, man. What a combo, man. The Francophone lads. Cameroon's finest and Congo's finest. And what a goal by Visa as well. Very, very good goal. Anyway, they also have nothing to play for. They're 16th in the league. They are safe. They will not move any higher than where they are at the moment. But they do end the season against Newcastle at home on Sunday. And then finally, relegation-bound Luton Town. Gabriel Osho played 90 minutes. And Fredo Yedima played 74 minutes. Luton's 3-1 loss to West Ham on Saturday, which basically confirmed their relegation. It'll be nice to see what happens with Gabriel Osho and also Elijah Adebayo in the summer. I must mention, Elijah Adebayo also started this game. Sorry, I didn't mention that. And I thought he was really lively, to be fair. He's also, put his intentions out there that he wants to play for the Super Eagles, but striker is our most stacked position, so he'll have to wait his turn. I do think Adebayo and Osho are good enough to play in the Premier League, so let's see what happens with them in the summer in terms of transfers. I think Oyedima is probably a championship level player, so I expect him to go back to the championship with Luton. But Osho and Adebayo, I think they're ones to watch for the summer, so let's see what happens there. And they will end their season against Fulham at home on Sunday. In terms of the other results in the Premier League over the weekend, Everton beat Sheffield United 1-0. Really good goal by Abdoulaye Doucouré after a good assist from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We saw Crystal Palace put Wolves to the sword. 3-1 win. Very, very good performance. I mean, Crystal Palace under Oliver Glasner just look like the truth. So I'm going to be putting some stocks into Crystal Palace for next season because, Oliver Glasner won the Europa League with Frankfurt. So this is no joke of a manager. And he already looks like he's cooking up something really special over there. So let's see if they can hang on to their players in the summer. That's really going to be the challenge, especially Olise and Eze. But really, really good performance from them. Tottenham beat Burnley 2-1 to keep their hopes of making the Champions League alive. Not a very good performance, it must be said, but they did what they had to do. Newcastle drew with Brighton 1-1. Both teams don't really have much to play for. Newcastle are still trying to make a Europa League spot because they're in battle with Chelsea and Manchester United. And then yesterday, Sunday, Arsenal beat Manchester United 1-0. Shout out to King Trossard and Kelakai. Mistake by Casemiro, but no surprise there. Even though we didn't play our best yesterday, it was pretty much like a procession win, to be honest. I didn't really feel like we were under any pressure for any moment in the game. And I thought we were well. We definitely deserved the 3 points. Shout out to our defenders, man. Saliba, another man of the match performance, following the one at Anfield, the one at Etihad, and now Old Trafford. And then earlier today, we watched one hell of a cracking game. Aston Villa 3, Liverpool 3. Liverpool were 3-1 up, but honestly, it looks like Liverpool are on holiday as well. They're just ready for Klopp to go on holiday because that game was so open. It was like a basketball match, like chances for both Villa, Liverpool. Like it was just end to end. So a very, very good game for the neutral. And I'm at least happy that Aston Villa did not win, which means that Tottenham have all to play for tomorrow. So next games, we have a few midweek fixtures to come. There's 3. So Tottenham play Manchester City tomorrow. Obviously, I hope Tottenham could do Arsenal a favour, even though it's very, very unlikely. I think this game will pretty much determine if City or Arsenal win the league. And then on Wednesday, we'll see Brighton host Chelsea at the Amex Stadium. And Manchester United will also host Newcastle at Old Trafford in that race for the Europa League. And then the final games of the season take place on Sunday. All of them will be at 4 p.m. UK time. Liverpool host Wolves at Anfield in what will be Klopp's final fixture at Anfield before he goes off into the sun in the summer. Sheffield United host Tottenham. Luton will host Fulham. Brighton host Man United at the Amex Stadium. Man City will be battling West Ham, their final fixture, while Arsenal will play Everton at the Emirates Stadium. So those are the 2 most important games to look out for on Sunday. Brentford will host Newcastle. Crystal Palace will host Aston Villa. Actually, the Crystal Palace game could be an interesting one if Tottenham win tomorrow. If Tottenham win tomorrow, then Aston Villa will need to avoid defeat at Crystal Palace. If Tottenham can beat Sheffield United and Aston Villa lose to Crystal Palace, if Tottenham win tomorrow, they will get into the Champions League, even though it's very, very unlikely. So watch this space. Burnley hosts Nottingham Forest, and then Chelsea hosts Bournemouth. And that will be the end of the Premier League season. So next week, or the next episode, I'll do a bit of a roundup of the end of the season. Most impressive Nigerian players, signing of the season, breakout player of the season, MVP of the season in terms of Nigerian players' performances all over Europe. So look out for that space, and it will be an exciting one to do. Moving on to the championship, Wilfred Ndidi and Iheanacho are done for the season. They finished first in the league, and we know that they're both out of contract. So watch this space. It's going to be a very, very interesting summer in terms of transfers. But in terms of who was in action, Jaribo's West Bromwich are in action in the first leg of the championship semi-final playoffs. They drew 0-0 against West Brom at West Brom were the home team. So the good news is they get the chance to play West Brom at home on Friday in the second leg of that game, and you have to say they are slight favourites considering their home form throughout the season so far. As for West Brom in that game, Semi Ajayi came off the bench in the 83rd minute, and Josh Maja was not in the squad. So let's see if Semi Ajayi could get some more minutes in that second leg on Friday. Moving on to Serie A, Victor Osimhen played 90 minutes as Napoli lost 2-0 to Bologna at home again. Oh my God, can we just I'm going to stop talking about Napoli right now. They are stinking up the joint. They're 8th. They've put up a hall of shame title defense. They have no chance to get into Europe, and they keep losing games to teams they should beat. Yes, Bologna are in the Champions League, which is an amazing feat, but my God, Napoli looks so dreadful. And it must be said, Osimhen missed a sitter in this game, one-on-one. Yes, they were 2-0 down, but he shot wide, and it was just what are you doing, bro? So anyway, I think everybody needs a new start in the summer when it comes to Osimhen and Napoli. But they play Fiorentina away on Friday. As for Samuel Chukwueze, AC Milan are comfortably second in the league. They have already qualified for the Champions League. Chukwueze played 45 minutes in AC Milan's 5-1 dropping of Cagliari on Saturday. He played all right, to be fair. I think one of the goals, he shot the ball at the goalkeeper, and then the rebound got put into the net by one of his teammates. I can't remember who scored that goal, but pretty decent from Chukwueze. So let's see how he gets on for the rest of the season. Next up for him, he plays Torino away on Saturday. Now, one of my star boys and one of the people doing Nigeria proud, Ademola Lookman. Last week, Thursday, he played 77 minutes, got a goal and an assist in Atalanta's 3-0 win over Marseille in the Europa League semi-final second leg, which meant that they won the tie 4-1 on aggregate because the first leg was 1-1. Unbelievable performance. His first goal, he scored the first goal of the game, and it was a great finish from outside the box with his right foot, Thierry Henry style. Yes, took a slight deflection, but still, Lookman is showing up when his team has needed him the most. So I love to see it. On Sunday, he came off the bench and played 32 minutes as Atalanta defeated Roma 2-1. Really good performance from Atalanta. They're now in 5th place and they have a game in hand. So it's looking very, very good for them in terms of qualification for the Champions League. They also have very interesting games to play because they've got Europa League final coming up, and they've also got the Coppa Italia final against Juventus on Wednesday. So that should be very exciting to see how Lookman performs in that game. In the league, they will play Lecce away on Saturday, so hopefully Lookman can add to his total. As for Udinese, Maduka Oke played 90 minutes and made 2 saves, while Isaac Success played 67 minutes as Udinese beat Lecce 2-0 to move out of the relegation zone and boost their survival hopes. It's very, very tight at the bottom of Serie A, and that win has pushed Udinese to 15th in the league. The good news for them is their next game is also against one of their relegation rivals, Empoli, and they play the game at home. So if Udinese can get one more result, they should relatively be safe from relegation. So it's looking quite good for them. As for Torino, David Okereke was benched in their 2-1 win over Verona. It looks like he never plays any minutes for Torino. Also, Torino have nothing to play for, so maybe that's also playing a part in his selection. Salernitana already confirmed to be relegated, but Chibuike Ekwemesi played 73 minutes as Salernitana drew 1-1 against Juventus on Sunday. Next up for them, they play Verona at home next Monday. Moving on to Bundesliga, it was the penultimate game of the season. First of all, in the Europa League semi-final second leg, both Boniface and Teller were benched as Leverkusen drew 2-2 against Roma. Really, really good performance from Leverkusen. They were 2-0 down, and this game was an all-timer. It looked like it was going to go into extra time, and then Leverkusen scored 2 late goals to win the tie 4-2 on aggregate. On Sunday, we saw both Boniface and Nathan Teller start the game, and quite beautifully, Nathan Teller won a penalty, and Victor Boniface scored the penalty. So both of them kind of combined together to get by Leverkusen one of their goals in their 5-0 win over Bochum on Sunday. So they've got one more game in the league, and it's against Augsburg at home on Saturday. If they win that game, they will officially be immortal and they would have completed the whole Bundesliga season unbeaten. Also, earlier this week, Victor Boniface was nominated for Rookie of the Season in the Bundesliga. Please go and vote for him. Check the Bundesliga's Twitter page. It would be nice to see him get it. I do think Xavi Simons will get it from Leipzig because he's played more games. As we know, Boniface was injured from the end of December all the way to April. But he does have a good chance. Let's see if he could get that one. Kevin Akpoguma is back to the starting lineup for Hoffenheim in recent games. He played 90 minutes in their 6-0 win over Darmstadt on Sunday. They're currently 7th, which looks like it will be good enough for European football next season, considering the fact that Germany have 5 spots in the Champions League. However, they end their season against Bayern Munich at home on Saturday, so hopefully they can still get a result there and maintain their position in 7th place. In La Liga, Omar Sadiq was an unused sub earlier today, as Real Sociedad lost 2-0 away to Barcelona. They're 7th in the league, so it's looking like a tricky one for them to make it to Europe. But they play Valencia at home on Thursday, and then they play Real Betis away on Sunday. And in League One, finally, in what was the penultimate game of the season as well, Thierry Murphy played 60 minutes as Nice defeated Le Havre on Friday. It means that Nice, if they win their game in hand, they will still be in with a chance of making the Champions League because they'll be 1 point below Brest. So let's see how they could get on. Although the problem for them is their game in hand is against PSG at home on Wednesday. So that's not going to be an easy one. And then they play Lille away on Sunday. So let's see if Murphy could get back on the goals and fire them into the Champions League. As for Lyon and Gift Urban, he did start the game and got a yellow card in Lyon's 1-0 win over Clermont Foot on Sunday. The fact that they're 7th in the league means that they still have a chance to make it into Europe. And that is primarily because they're only 4 points behind Nice, who are in 5th place. So let's see how Lyon end their season, starting with Strasbourg at home on Sunday, which will be their final game of the season. As for Montpellier, Ako Adams came off the bench and played 29 minutes in Montpellier's 2-0 loss to Monaco on Sunday. They end their season away at Lens, so let's see if Ako Adams can start the game. He did start the season really brightly, but it's been a bit of a slow burner for the rest of the season. But still a pretty good rookie season in Ligue 1 for Ako Adams. So that's it in terms of the top 5 leagues in Europe. So moving on to the rest of the leagues in Europe outside the top 5, starting with the Portuguese league as usual. Bruno Yemachi was not in the squad for Boavista, while Chidozia Waziem played 90 minutes as Boavista lost 2-1 to Porto on Sunday. It's squeaky bum time for Boavista because they are currently 14th in the league. And remember, the Portuguese league has only 18 clubs, which means that they are dangerously close to relegation. They're 2 points off relegation with 1 game to go. And their final game of the season is this Sunday at home to Vizela, who are in the relegation zone. So the good news for Boavista is as long as they draw that game or they win, they should be able to remain in the Primera Liga. So let's see if both of our players can come in. Kelechi Nwakali played 49 minutes as Chavez lost 1-0 to Famalicão on Friday. This result confirmed their relegation as well. There was also a bit of a storm of a story because Nwakali was caught on his phone after being subbed off while his team had just gotten relegated, which is just bad optics. Like, bro, put your phone away. I mean, if that does not just explain why Kelechi Nwakali's career has gone the way it is, I don't know what is. This is a player that was on top of the world and was the Under-17 World Cup best player, even ahead of Osimhen. And now look at Osimhen and look at Nwakali. It just looks like he's just comfortable with mediocrity. I'm sorry to say, but anyway, he's still in the top league, so we'll mention it, even though they will be relegated next season. So that will determine whether I report on him next season or not. Moving on to the Belgian league and starting with Rafael Edika. He was unfortunately suspended for the second leg of the Europa Conference League semi-final against Fiorentina. And this was a very, very painful one for Club Brugge. They drew 1-1, which meant that they lost 4-3 on aggregate. The first leg, they lost 3-2 away at Fiorentina, and they were winning 1-0 right up until the 82nd minute when they conceded a penalty. And Fiorentina dispatched the penalty, which must have been a dagger to the heart. Because can you imagine if a Belgian club made the Europa Conference League final? But anyway, good effort, commiserations. Ano Edika continues to ball. He also started the game. He then started the game over the weekend as Club Brugge drew 2-2 against Anderlecht. But they're still on track to win the Belgian league. So keep posted on this space. Next up for them, they play Anderlecht away on Sunday. And I am pretty sure that this will be the final game of the season. No, there's 2 more games of the season. So the good news for Club Brugge is that it looks like, I mean, it's neck and neck between Club Brugge and Anderlecht, let's just say. So Club Brugge basically need to beat Anderlecht on Sunday to really just pull away from Anderlecht. Whoever wins that game will likely win the title, basically what I'm saying. So good luck to Rafael Edika. As for Royal Antwerp, commiserations to the boys, Chidera Ejike and Alassane Yusuf. Both of them played in Royal Antwerp's 1-0 loss to Union Saint-Gilloise in the Belgian Cup final on Thursday. And then over the weekend on Sunday, Alassane Yusuf and Ejike both started and Victor Odo came on for the final 34 minutes as Royal Antwerp lost 2-1 to Cercle Bruges on Sunday. So it's not looking good for them in terms of the championship. They're bottom of that particular group. Next up, Tolura Godare played 90 minutes and scored in Genk's 2-1 loss to Anderlecht on Saturday. They're 5th in the championship round. So just to explain the way it works in Belgium, after about 30 games, they split the League of 18 into 3 different groups. So there is the race for the championship with the top 6 clubs. Then the clubs from 7th to 14th are in the Conference League playoff group. And then the bottom 6 are in the relegation round. So Genk and Royal Antwerp are basically bottom of the championship round. So they're 5th and 6th in the league, which means that they may get some European places, but it's very, very unlikely. Basically, they're just playing to end the season now, in a nutshell. Anyway, shout out to Arco Dari for scoring a goal. And then Torunariga, Jonathan Torunariga was an unused sub for Ghent in their 1-0 loss to Louvain over the weekend. And they play Standard Liège away on Saturday. In the Greek League, good news, Super Eagles captain William Troost-Ekong is back in full training. The season is not yet over as Park is in second place in the Greek League. They've got 2 more fixtures. They play Panathinaikos at home on Wednesday, and they play Aris Thessaloniki away on Sunday. I don't know if William Troost-Ekong is quite match fit yet, but we'll keep an eye out to see if he plays any minutes in any of these games, which will be nice to see. And in a boost to the Super Eagles, if he could come back before the end of the season, then we need our captain for those World Cup qualifiers. Because AFCON Player of the Year, Player of the Tournament. Like, we need that Kong, whether you like it or not. And then moving on to the Turkish League, Bright Osay Samo played 24 minutes in Fenerbahce's 3-0 win over Kayserispor. As I said, they've pretty much lost the title to Galatasaray, even though their next game is away against Galatasaray on Sunday. The problem is, even if they win, they will still be 2 points behind Galatasaray. So it's pretty much done. And if Galatasaray win that game, they will be crowned champions. Now, in another player who's been hitting up since he returned from injury, Onuachu played 60 minutes and scored a goal on Wednesday as Trabzonspor beats Fatih Karagümrük 4-0, 7-2 on aggregate to make it to the Turkish Cup final. And then on Sunday, he scored 2 goals in 2 minutes as Trabzonspor beat Istanbulspor 3-0. So Trabzonspor are 3rd place, which means that they should get a place in the Champions League qualification playoffs, or at worst Europa League. But it's good to see Onuachu back doing what he does best. As for Fisari Delebashu's Hatayspor, they are 1 point behind Gaziantep in 16th. They beat Ankara Gugu 2-1 on Sunday. So that's boosted their chances of staying up in the division as they're only 1 point off safety. So let's see how they're able to get on over the next set of games. Next up for them, they play Besiktas away on Sunday, so it's not going to be any easier for them. Kenneth Vermeer, on the other hand, was benched in Kasimpaşa's 3-1 win over Antalyaspor on Sunday, and their next game is away against Rizespor on Sunday. In the Scottish League, Cyril Dessers was in action in the Old Firm derby for Rangers as they lost 2-1 to Celtic. They've pretty much lost the title now, and Celtic will win their last game, and that will be the end of that. Next up for Cyril Dessers and Co, they play Dundee at home on Tuesday, and then they play Hearts away on Saturday. In the South African PSL, Nigeria #1 goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali played 90 minutes in Chippa United's 2-0 loss against Orlando Pirates on Wednesday. He then played 90 minutes and made 2 saves in Chippa United's 1-1 draw against Lamontville Golden Arrows on Sunday. Next up for them, they play Royal AM away on Saturday. And then I'm looking forward to the summer because Nwabali should be making his way into Europe. Olisanda, on the other hand, was on the bench on Wednesday when Orlando Pirates defeated Chippa United 2-0. And then on Saturday, he returned to the starting lineup and played 90 minutes as Orlando Pirates lost 1-0 to Richards Bay. Next up for them, they played TS Galaxy away on Saturday. In the Czech Republic, Igor Ugbo played 45 minutes, centre-back, and Mohamed Tijani played 11 minutes in Slavia Prague's 0-0 draw against Sparta Prague on Saturday. Next up for them, they play Victoria Pilsen at home on Wednesday, and then they end the season away to Slovakia. As for Sparta Prague's Victor Latunji, he played 8 minutes in that 0-0 draw against Slavia Prague. And Slavia Prague, who are currently top of the league and will go on to win the Czech Republic League, play Baník Ostrava at home on Tuesday and then Mlada Boleslav away on Saturday. Now, Starboy of the Week, yet again, it will be shared for me because of the context. We have to give Ademola Lookman his flowers. I mean, they even announced in Bergamo that a baby was named Lookman on Thursday after Atalanta qualified for their first ever European final after Atalanta beat Marseille 3-0 and 4-1 on aggregate to make the Europa League final. When you make such a telling contribution as 1 goal and 1 assist in your club's most important game in their history so far, boy oh boy, you rock my world. Lookman is a man for the big occasions, and that's what I love the most about him. Whatever the occasion, Lookman is ready. Nothing phases him. And oh my God, it's such a joy to watch. So Lookman, you rock my world. Also, Onuachu for being a bagsman. 3 goals in 2 games during this week, which means he's now got 6 goals and 1 assist in his last 4 games. I mean, football is all about goals. That's the currency of our sport. And when you're bagging them in, boy, you deserve your credit. So Onuachu, shout out to you. Lookman and Onuachu, both Star Boys of the Week. Now, to round up the podcast, the ones to watch, we got some tasty fixtures to look forward to. Starting with the Coppa Italia final, Ademola Lookman has the chance to win the first club silverware of his career, at least in the top league, as Atalanta play Juventus on Wednesday in the Coppa Italia final. It's going to be a very, very tough game, but I have faith in what Gasperini and Atalanta are doing. They're definitely the form side compared to Juventus, who have been fortunate to end the season. So let's see how they get on in that tie. And then on Wednesday, we see Terramorphy's Nice play PSG on Wednesday. On Friday, we've got the battle to make Wembley in the Championship second leg playoff, where Jaribo Southampton faces off against Semi Ajayi and Josh Maja's West Bromwich. And then on Saturday, we see David Okereke's Torino play Samuel Chukwueze's AC Milan. And also, Kevin Akpogoma's Hoffenheim play Bayern Munich on Saturday. I want to watch this Akpogoma game because I really believe he should be in the next Nigeria squad, but that's story for another day. And then on Sunday, we see Galatasaray face Bright Osai Samuel's Fenerbahce in what is a straight shootout between first and second. But as I said, it's pretty much done because of how Galatasaray have been playing so far. And then on Sunday, we see Besiktas play Tom Delebashu's Hatayspor on Sunday, which is a big game, as Hatayspor tried to stave off relegation and stay in the Turkish First Division. So that's it for this episode of the podcast. Thanks as always for rocking with me. Looking forward to all the games we have over the next 7 days, especially the final game of the season, as my Arsenal have a chance to win the Premier League for the first time in 20 years. I know it's unlikely, I know. But still, as long as there's hope, we will be there. Remember, we are NFWPOD on Twitter and Nigeria Football Weekly on every other social media platform. Thanks again for rocking with me. Enjoy the football. And until next time, peace out. God bless. And also, one time, good luck to Finidi George, because boy, are we going to be watching you, man. We need to shine and we need to go to the World Cup. So that's it. Peace out and take care. Bye. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and click the bell to get a notification whenever we drop a video. You can also find our social media channels listed below. And of course, up Super Eagles and Nigerian, they ever carry last.